Welcome to this video, where we explore the best business books I've ever read. This curated list features 48 titles across finance, startups, markets, and the future of work. Why read? Because books are meant to challenge your perspective. Read what you agree with, read what you disagree with, and read what makes you uncomfortable. Just keep reading. The year 2008 changed everything. The economic crisis was a harsh reality check, sparking a shift in my focus toward understanding business, management, and the complexities of the financial world. In project management, the goal is to keep stacking value. Find the work that can continue to move, even when everything else seems to have stalled. This collection of 48 books is organized by the key questions that guided my professional development, ranging from financial crises to the future of work. Our journey begins with Chapter 1, the 2008 financial crisis. This was the catalyst for my deeper exploration into business and management. First, we look at the crisis from inside the machine. The Big Short by Michael Lewis and Too Big to Fail by Andrew Ross Sorkin offer essential perspectives on housing, risk, and systemic stress. The third book, All the Devils Are Here by Bethany McLean and Joe Nocera, provides a comprehensive view of the policies and people involved in the collapse. Chapter 2 focuses on people and companies. Remember, people build companies, and they are also the ones who break them. For deeper insight into capital and temperament, I highly recommend The Snowball about Warren Buffett and Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow, which outlines the birth of our financial operating system. Next, we examine two contrasting views of Wall Street power through Jordan Belfort's The Wolf of Wall Street and Mark Stevens' biography of Carl Icahn. Books 8 through 10 dive into technology and leadership. We explore the career of Steve Jobs, the rise of Tesla in insane mode, and the spectacular fall of BlackBerry. Chapter 3 covers the messy reality of startups. Every journey here is unique and often unpredictable. Founders, conflict, and control are at the heart of hatching Twitter and the accidental billionaires. These books illustrate the high stakes behind founding famous tech giants. Finally, we contrast crypto redemption in Bitcoin Billionaires with the dark side of Silicon Valley deception detailed in Bad Blood. Innovation, as these show, must be rooted in truth. Moving on to our next section, we examine the fine line between business collapse and survival, featuring the stories of WeWork and Netflix. Reeves Wiedemann's Billion Dollar Loser chronicles the rise and fall of Adam Neumann and WeWork, reminding us that vision without governance inevitably leads to collapse. In contrast, That Will Never Work by Mark Randolph details the survival, iteration, and team dynamics that built Netflix. Chapter 4 shifts our focus to investing. Remember, as you navigate these markets, that price is not the same thing as value. Joel Greenblatt's works, You Can Be a Stock Market Genius, and The Little Book That Still Beats the Market help you find the edge hiding in plain sight, offering strategies from the magic formula to special investment situations. Next, we explore how markets are shaped by people interacting with equations. From market wizards to retail traders, these books cover the landscape of modern finance. Jack Schwager's Hedge Fund Market Wizards provides insights into risk and psychology, while The Acquirer's Multiple by Tobias Carlyle highlights the power of recurring cash flow. Dumb Money by Ben Mesrich captures the dramatic intersection of retail traders and market structure. Chapter 5 brings us to the cautionary tale of long-term capital management. Before the 2008 crisis, there was LTCM, brilliant math, enormous leverage, and ultimately a breakdown of control. Roger Lowenstein's When Genius Failed and Nicholas Dunbar's Inventing Money explain why models do not eliminate the need for governance. Both books are essential reading on the dangers of high leverage. Chapter 6 dives into the saucy financial 1980s. It was a decade of LBOs, junk bonds, and undeniable Wall Street swagger. Barbarians at the Gate remains one of my favorite reads, depicting the fall of R.J.R. Nabisco. Alongside it, The Predator's Ball by Connie Bruck provides a deep dive into Michael Milken and the junk bond era. We continue exploring financial excess with Merchants of Debt by George Anders, which looks at the mechanics of KKR, and James B. Stewart's Den of Thieves, covering the decade's financial scandals. Chapter 7 focuses on Michael Lewis. It is fascinating how he takes complex subjects, like baseball or finance, and reveals their underlying market truths. We highlight two of Lewis's best, Moneyball, which frames baseball as a series of market inefficiencies, and Liar's Poker, which provides an unmatched look at the bond desks of the 80s. In The Undoing Project, Lewis explores the brilliant minds that changed how we make decisions, and in Flash Boys, he exposes the high-speed reality of modern market structures. Chapter 8 explores how sports function as markets. Whether it's baseball cards or scoreboards, they all rely on incentives and business decisions, demonstrating the clear link between data, value, and strategy. In the world of sports business, even the most legendary stories reveal truths about market incentives. We now look at, quote, Game of Shadows regarding the steroids era, and The Curse of Rocky Colavito for a historical perspective on the Cleveland baseball business. Chapter 9 brings us to Enron. This is a vital study in corporate failure, showing us that culture is never just fluff. It is an active, often destructive, part of the operating system. For the full story on Enron, read The Smartest Guys in the Room by Bethany McLean and Peter Elkind, and Conspiracy of Fools by Kurt Eichenwald. These books provide a masterclass in organizational dysfunction and unethical control. Chapter 10 moves into the future of work. The central lesson here is simple. Work does not have to be crazy to be productive. Jason Fried and David Heinemeier Hansen wrote the definitive guides with Remote, Office Not Required, and It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work. These books argue that a calm, intentional workspace is a design choice. Finally, we arrive at Chapter 11, The Reference Shelf. These are the books you should keep within reach for ongoing study. Essential foundations for any investor include Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor and Louis Hyman's Borrow, The American Way of Debt, which maps how debt became ingrained in our culture. For understanding market cycles, Robert Shiller's Irrational Exuberance is peerless. If you are more interested in business growth, Walker Diebel's Buy Then Build provides a roadmap for acquiring businesses rather than starting from zero. To wrap up our library, we look at the fundamentals of leadership in The First-Time Manager, and a shocking look at financial deception in Billion-Dollar Whale by Tom Wright and Bradley Hope. Our final book is The Millionaire Next Door. It is one of the best books on this entire list. My advice: study the reality of wealth, not the stereotypes you see on TV. That is our complete shelf of 48 books. We have covered finance, technology, startups, and management. Each represents a puzzle piece for understanding how our world works. Remember, reading is not about blindly endorsing an author. It is about studying their arguments, challenging your assumptions, and ultimately, learning to think for yourself. Why do I often mention LeVar Burton? Because he spent decades showing children that books provide freedom. His advocacy for reading, especially when he says read banned books, reminds us of the power of the written word. You don't have to take my word for it. Open a book. The resources are all there, and they don't require fancy television productions to make an impact on your life. There you have it, all 48 resources with links, notes, and authors. Save this video, pick one book, and start reading. The knowledge you need is waiting for you.